He's been given many awards, just like Username Investment and myself here. He's the best, as the best male debater at the Great Debaters Contest, best public speaker nationally at Kenya Music Festival, and best orator at Kenya Student Leaders Council, and so many more. I know he'll be sharing his social media handles for you to follow him. He has a target and he has a big vision, like most of us. And young people, guys, you need to have your own vision. I know you are young out there and listening to us. If you don't have one, don't be worried. We'll teach you how to be able to develop one. He has a mission to reach 10 million people by 2029, and has it tagged as Vision 2029. You can have your own Vision 2030, Vision 2024, whatever vision you have to motivate yourself. Not take so much time. I'm going to introduce Mr. Bennyhinn Walubengo to this show today. We are going to have a conversation, and I believe we are going to have a very good time.
Yes,
I'm going to give him this time maybe to introduce himself,
yes,
tell us about, in 2 minutes,
yes, sir,
about himself.
Yes.
He's a great orator and speaker. He's won those awards I've mentioned. This is his time to tell us about himself.
Great.
Then we can tell you things that you should be doing in your 20s.
yes.
He's in his 20s. I'm in my 30s, almost going to 40s. We are going to combine our experiences, and I hope you are not going to fight here because we have different views.
Yes.
So introduce yourself, tell us about yourself,
Yes.
and then I know our audience are really watching and listening to us.
Great. Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity. So my name is Walubengo, as I've been introduced. Currently, I'm a student at Daystar University. I'm in my second year, going to third year, studying international relations. Recently, I opened up a company called Double B Consultancy that does trainings for corporates and also for individuals. So 3 levels. We do it for young children, just helping them to develop in terms of public speaking. Kids both who are well in terms of speaking and those who have issues like stammering. We help them in speech development. Then we have advanced trainings that we do for the young professionals in corporate companies, training sales teams, and also training them in PR and packaging. And also we have for executives. Currently working for a few government officials. Recently just got an opportunity to train Charlene Ruto in her packaging and social media. So run WP Consultancy. Then on the side we do Ispeak Society. It's a CBO, community-based organization, where we just train young people, just pouring out to a generation, doing campus tours, county tours, gathering them, and just training them in public speaking, the aspect of building confidence, the aspect of networking and packaging, and that's what we're doing currently. Aside from that, I've done 4 books. Did the first one called Sprout, the second one called Tears of a Sun, the third one called 360 Seconds of Destiny, how to speak and what to say within the first 360 seconds, and also another book called What Can I Do For You? Because it's a question that I would be asked by so many people when I was growing up. So that is who I am, sir.
Thank you so much. I don't know whether he has taken his 2 minutes. This guy in one of the award sessions that we had, he was a speaker in that session, and I was so amazed. And we had a chat in social media, and I realized this is someone we would like to work with. What were you doing at 21 years? I would not wish to answer that question because I have so many things I would like to share, things I wish I knew when I was 21 years. I'm the CEO of Username Investment Limited. I may not have mentioned that. And for young people who are watching us today, I know at the end of this session, ensure that you pick something. If you are that guy who would like to write things down in a pen and paper, some of you will I know you guys are very tech savvy. There are those who would like to watch this video again. There are those who would like to take notes. What I'm saying, at the very end of this session, pick something, either from me or from him, because he's doing amazing thing. He wrote a book at 19 years, imagine. He actually told me he published it at 19, started writing it at 16. It tells you the number of things you can do. There are those who are looking at people who are 40 years old, 50 years, 30 years old, assuming you are 20-something, early 20s, and you are thinking they are too old. That is very far away. My friend, it is not far away. You can actually remember what you did 5 years ago. So by the end of this session, and that's why I keep saying get it done with Reuben, because I believe you need to do something. Nothing happens by chance. Write things down, have a take home today, something that you can do tomorrow. And while at it, we are requesting you, please don't subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook pages, like them, comment, share with your friend. There are those bells, and click them so that you help us reach as many people as possible with this message. We will be bringing you more amazing guests and speakers as well, people who can be able to converse with us and share their experiences to your own benefit. You pick something. Who doesn't want to be successful in this life? Are you that young person? You look at those celebs out there. If you are looking at the president, if you are looking at the biggest business leaders in this world, would you like to be those people? The biggest and the best sports person in this world, would you like to be those people? Do you know it is very possible? The time you have, by the time I was about 30 years, I had done something for myself. And I used to say, I wish I started as early as when I was 20 years old. Time is a very big, good thing for you. But most of you, where you are, most likely you are not informed, and that's why we are doing this. I know people are willing to listen so that you proceed and succeed in your own life. So allow us to begin our conversation today. I don't want to talk so much because I know I can, remembering some of the things I did, the hits, the misses, some of the life I lived when I was young like you, when I was in college, maybe after high school, some of the things I do. We have amazing stories today. I don't know where we are going to start with this amazing young man in this conversation, but I know he has so many questions for me. We are going to try to see in our conversation some of the things that he is doing today, because he is doing something right. For you to be the best speaker in terms of this award, someone who has been nominated as the best public speaker in National Music Festival, countrywide, that is not a small feat. For you to have written a book, for you to be someone who is being consulted, now he's dealing with the First Family and stuff like that, and these are consultants, somebody who is even training organization at the age of 21, you can also do the same. As much as I'm here, also I've done things for myself after these many years, but there are things I know I should have done earlier than I did them. I know he has many questions for me. I don't know where he's going to start asking questions. I'll also be able to ask questions to him. Yes. Then we have this conversation. And don't forget to ask your own question down there. Contribute. Because you also imagine, you guys are very smart wherever you are watching us from. You have contributions to make, and we encourage you to make it down there in the comment section. You may help someone in some of these questions that maybe I may not also be able to answer. Don't forget to engage us, comment down there, share with your friends this live feed, and we really appreciate. Mr. Walubengo, I don't know where we are going to start, but you can start, because outside this live show, I know you are asking me questions. I think this is the time to ask these questions, and then we can proceed from there.
Okay. So maybe first of all, we were just doing a research, and we discovered that there are 4 types of young people who are joining us today. And there is a first category whom are called Alpha. Alpha, these are young people who, when they are young, they have a lot of influence. They have already figured out where they want to go. Most of the time they control crowds, whether they're in good things or bad things. And maybe for me, when I was growing up, I was more of an Alpha. I remember when I was in high school, I ended up learning in 7 schools. Suspended in different schools because of incitement and all that, because I was always outgoing and outspoken. So that's the first category, Alpha. And maybe after this now I'll ask you, where do you think you are and how did you figure out? Then the second category, these are called Axis. These are the, I can say, teacher's pet sort of students. When we were young, most of them used to be prefects. They were just the good guys, the good guys, hawana story mingi, but somehow, some of them, maybe I can say, they haven't figured out maybe talent, so they're just good in what they're doing. Whatever they're given, they'll work with it. So they are like, I can say, average in everything that they do. When you go to football, they have an idea. When you go to academics, they have an idea. When you go to this thing, they have an idea. But there is nothing that they're the best at. But Alpha, it's either you're the best at good things or bad things. Where you are, people will know that you're there. Then there is the adaptive type of young people. These are young people who do what their parents have told them or what they saw in the environment. So basically, they have never made a decision in their lives. Maybe if it's the course that they want to take in university, they were told, go and take this course. They took that course. They were told, you can be good at this, go and do that. So for them, they have been adaptive. They adapt to systems. They don't disrupt. They don't make any problems with anyone. They're just adaptive. Then the fourth category, they are called the average. The average young person is that person who they have never tried anything. They just play it safe. So they have never tried anything, maybe because of exposure or maybe because of lack of resources. So maybe amongst these four types of young people, where do you think you are when you are young? And maybe going ahead, how have you figured it out?
Okay, that is heavy. I'm really trying to think where I was, especially at different stages of my life. I think I am an interesting person, I may say so. Just to answer that question for the sake of our audience, I know they are watching and wondering, where is Reuben? Some of them can actually be able to approximate. I think at different stages of my life have been different.
Yes.
Because I've realized over time, life is about discovering yourself.
Yes,
you may start as an alpha, but end up as a narcissist, depending on the situation in life. I think I might have, I don't consider myself average from wherever I've grown, but between alpha and axis. Alpha and axis, depending on I think I've been axis for the longest time ever until now, because we are actually in business. The environment molds you to become a person, and discovering yourself is something that is very important over time. So over time, I've been learning new things about myself, things I can do. I've been testing things I've learned. I'm this kind of a person. And I think I may not be able to pinpoint, but I'm somewhere between axis and alpha. I'm not average. Wherever I've gone, from high school, from primary, never average. But I believe in doing things, getting things done, doing things well, getting into action. Why? Let me ask you, as regard to those four types of, let me call them types of personalities for the sake of our young people. And wherever you are, please discover yourself. Why do you think they are important?
Well, they're important because now from there, when you are an alpha, very outgoing, have a lot of energy. Once you know you're an alpha, they're the same way you'll handle an alpha is not the same way you'll handle an axis type of person. So for example, for me, when I discovered, okay, I'm very outgoing, I have too much energy, and I had read a lot of books. By the time I was, I think, 13, I read Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. I had a lot of information, but I didn't know where to take it. So when you're an alpha, the most important thing at that level is one, finding a mentor and people who have gone ahead of you extremely. So I had to look for people who are way ahead of me, even in terms of public speaking. There's a guy called Pierre Lumumba. I went, knocked his offices, and I sat down with him and I told him, sir, I just want to learn from you. I was in high school and I told him, during school holidays, I'll be coming to write speeches and I can come up with a strategy to be a brand ambassador for PLO Lumumba Foundation. And he gave me an opportunity. And sitting under him, there's that molding that came. Then later on I met Pastor Tim Wangi. And we used to go with him for missions. He's mentored me for the last 7 years. So when you're an alpha, that means your energies need to be conserved a bit, and you also need to have someone who walks with you step by step, because you can do quite a lot. Remember, there's a day I did 11 meetings. When I met him in the evening, he told me, why do 11 meetings? I said, because someone has to be outgoing, and he told me, you don't have to be all over the place. He told me, just build capacity, work on your book, have a good portfolio, then go to the right places, and wherever you go, do your best. You don't have to be everywhere. You lose a lot of energy. So it's good now to understand, yes. Then the axis type of person just needs someone to start them up, someone just to tell them, go and try that thing, go and do that thing. For example, I see with a group of young people, our organization has around 4,000 young people. So sometimes we go to events and we see a certain CEO and we know this person can actually buy our product. And I tell this guy, now go. I tell that person whom I know, this one actually fears. I tell them, go and sell it. Or go and go and give that person the proposal. I remember one day we were doing an event last year, wanted to gather 2,000 young people. And we needed 1.5 million. And we hadn't known that we were supposed to, package all these things and stuff. So our proposal was ready within 3 weeks. So we literally had to go to Moi Avenue. When we took on a Range Rover, ama gari yenye tunajua ujamaa anakaa kona capacity. We go there, you knock the window politely, you're in your suit, you're in your cologne, unaambia jama, this is a proposal, this is my business card, please have it. And I went there with more than 30 young people, and we used to do that. And that's how we managed to raise money for the event. So that is now the access level. Uni mtu mwenye anakanga home, anajua nini anafaa kudu. Hata ameandika dreams zake vifiti. But hakuna kitu yenye amaidu. Anajua anafaa kufungua YouTube channel. But ukimuuliza mazee shida nini, nakwambia maybe sina camera, studio nini. So you just need to tell them record on phone. And then let me see it tomorrow. Then the third category, the adaptive, uni mtu anafasa kutupwa kwa environment iko na wase wenye ni ma-alpha. Akitupwa kwa hiyo environment, hao ni wase wa mipango, wanakuwa na mikakati. Ukimwambia kesho twende tunetoka, nakwambia mazee ungeniambia mapema 2 weeks ago. Na unajua life hakunanga story ya mapema at times. There are things which are very random, and I'll be asking you this later. And then mse mwenye ni average anahitaji empowerment. So kumpea ma books, hiyo story ya kuandika vision. So that's why I think now it's important. Mse akishajua, it's very easy to maneuver even in the environment. So once you know the category, that's why I intentionally asked you that question, because I feel like if you're 38 now, and according to the World Bank report inasema, for you to build a business in Africa that can employ 15 people, it takes 15 years of mastery. So meaning 38 minus 15, meaning at the age of 23, you had a rough idea that there's like a something. Yes, sir.
I'm not sure about that, but we're going to share more to know whether there's something that you can be able to do to change your life. Yes. Amazing story that you're sharing is good for you to place yourself somewhere. And like I said, I've kept changing myself. You might say you're average, but then you realize you're alpha. Maybe because of your environment, because we grew up in so many different environments, something was muzzled in you, something was like constrained in you. So you are not able to come out. The way there are people who know me from high school, the same way they know me today, they are shocked, they are amazed, because I've discovered things about yourself. Go on an exploration journey so that we don't lose focus today. I think that topic about the types of personalities, the type of people that exist, is something that maybe we'll like to cover in a different topic, because I have so many questions about it. Now, let's go to this discussion. Things you should be doing in your 20s. And I think I would like to go first, because I would also like to ask him at a point in this conversation what he thinks young people should be doing. There are those who are less than 20 years, but I also know there are those who are at least 20, they are going to 21, 22. Most of them are in college. They are wondering, what, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the wrong path? Most of them are not sure. And that's why we are doing these shows, for us to be able to confirm and validate some of the good things that you are doing, and also correct you on some of the destructive things, not necessarily bad, destructive things that you might be doing, that will make it very difficult when you are my age to be able to succeed. And like I said, who doesn't want to be successful? Maybe 1 or 2 people out there, but I don't think they do exist. So we are going to help you to reach that level of success that you so much desire by telling you what to do. You talked about that part of people who are adaptive, some of them who are average. What they lack is action. Being able to lift this, you can't say you are thirsty and you have some water here and you are not willing to take this bottle and sip. So we are talking about those things you should be doing in your 20s, and I would like to share some of the stories I have. When I finished college at the age of 24 years. I think he's also going to do the same. When I was in college, I used to have many dreams about things I would like to do. That's why I've talked about being alpha and axis at some point. Even in college itself, we had some business where we used to apply green cards for students. You saw green cards? We help you through the process. We know the type of, I did computer science in college. So I knew the type of, the formats that are required. Most people are not able to apply. So we joined as a group of 5. We used to call ourselves Digital 5 Technologies. We sold airtime, apply green cards for staff there. So this is something that I started early. So I knew I can do business. It's part of discovery. Even some of my friends that were in that group, some of them did not pursue business. It doesn't mean that you must pursue. At some point in your life, you discover yourself. So I've been learning so many things that about. I've been learning so many things about myself, which I would like to share as we go along. One thing that I believe, and I think this is where most of you are waiting for. One thing, and this young man might actually contest and say, no, Reuben, that is not true. One thing that I believe you must do, you must discover yourself. We are talking about those things that you must do between 20 and 30 years. You must discover yourself. And for some of you, I would say this because I was there. I used to be confused. I did not know where I was doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Most of you are following the groups that you are there, that peer pressure, what your friends are doing, what your parents are saying you should do, what the lecturers are saying you must do, and many other things. But you need to find a way of discovering yourself, because at the age of 20 to 30, ukifika 30, hautakuwa na time mob. Because life, you see your friends getting married, getting kids, then you are wondering, am I? And some of you also get married without even having an idea of where they are getting into. This is an age of discovery. You need to discover about your talents. How do you discover talents? How do you discover that you can do business? By trying. You need to go out there and give it a shot. Try for some time, join a group of friends. If you fail at that age, you have so much time to recover. After that, it is very hard when you fail, because you have a very small time. Not that you you still can't recover, but you still can. So what I'm saying, discover your talents, discover your giftings, discover the careers that you want, discover the kind of physical activities. I used to play hockey in high school and in college. I used to be in drama. I joined by mistake, by the way, because I never liked to do cross country. Ironically, after college, I'm one of those people who run a lot. I've done many marathons. Life is very interesting. So please try things. Is it activities? Is it education? Is it career? Anything that you can. You'll discover, out of say 50 things that you'll try, you'll discover 10 where you are very good at. Because most of you are confused. They are waiting for a prophet, a pastor, or someone like a president or your MP to tell you where you are gifted in. Or maybe some of you are waiting to dream about something so that you know you are gifted in something. That's not how it works. So one thing I strongly believe, and that's why I kept saying, those 4 types of persons he has talked about, those 4 types of personality he has talked about, I have been rotating between 2 of them. At some point, maybe I was even average. And those friends who know me from high school, they can be able to attest to this. So discover yourself, number 1. Number 2, know who you are. Before I give it to him, because I know he has a lot to share. You must know, this is called identity. Most of you, you'll find yourself, you are, I would say, a state of confusion. You don't know what you should do. You don't know, you feel like you don't have the right confidence, and I will shock you. The way God created all of us, we have some contribution to make it to this world. We have something to give to this world. We have something we can do, and we have something we can shine on. Always remember that. So as a person, wherever you are, sometimes you may feel like you don't measure up. You're not that kind of guy who can get a first-class honors, especially if you're in college. You're not that kind of guy who can be the best, maybe in some form of activity, wherever you are. You're not that kind of a guy who can come out in the public and address people. There are those people who we believe should be able to be to go forward, become leaders, and maybe you are that kind of a person, but you have not discovered yourself. You have to know who you are. You have to know you are a person who has capabilities that have not been discovered, and you work hard to discover them and give the world that very thing that the world is waiting from you. You have something to offer. There are so many other things that I know we can share today, but I'll try to get back to him because I know he's 21 and he has done so many things. I would like to understand from what you think. Do you think young people who are of your age are doing the right thing? Would you say they are doing the right thing or heading in the right direction?
Well, there is a 70% that are not maybe doing the right thing, but there is a 30%. I was just doing a research in terms
You
of
say 70 doing
the wrong thing.
The wrong thing.
Yes,
that's
but there is
a big number.
but there is a 30%. Last year alone, an year has 364 days or 365. Last year alone, the media headlines that were showing negative things about young people were 192 in terms of TV.
Yes.
Out of 364 days. In terms of newspapers, the headlines that were showing negative things about young people were 36. Last year, there is a day we did an event of 3,000 people. The same day, we had talked to some guys in media to come and cover the event. And they told us, we'll charge you 60,000 just to come and cover the event. But that same day, their blogs were posting all over the country. There were two twins who had given one girl, who had wanted to get married to one girl. And so I can say, the media, the society in general, focuses on the 70%. But there is a 30% that people don't talk about. And maybe I would like us to even also focus on these other percentage, because there is a 70% that maybe is doing wrong things. Maybe some of them haven't yet discovered what they can do. Some of them also it's due to pain, because looking at a few factors, remember that this generation, Generation Z, Generation Alpha, has different problems that face them. One, we are looking at the divorce rates in the country have now shifted at 66% in terms of people who've been married from 2010. So meaning a lot of young people right now are being raised in broken families, some because of circumstances that wouldn't be controlled. And also there is a lot of depression out there. Also the aspect of education. In your days, when someone would have a degree and a master's, they will be sure they will get a job, you know. Right now, there are many young people who have those degrees, but they don't know even they'll take them. You've just finished school. Right now, I'm in second year in campus. There are people who I'm together with in class. Some of them are already doing maybe cryptocurrency, forex, content creation, and you see them making money. And so there's a way in which even there's a lie that was given. Because you see, when you're in nursery school, when I grow up, I want to become a pilot, a farmer, a teacher, a doctor. At that time, no one could say they want to become a photographer. No one would say they want to become a professional chef. Now we are growing up, we are discovering, maybe I've been doing the wrong thing. Yes, you know, for me, I never knew that you can become a professional public speaker. And so every time I used to be written on noisemakers, even when you're not in school, napata umeandikwa. So later on, I'm discovering, kumbe this thing called public speaking. I saw the red card of John C. Maxwell. We are inviting him this year, John C. Maxwell and Sarah Jakes. John C. Maxwell sent us a red card of 25 million to speak for 3 hours. And I looked at the American system, the British system. You look at their system. By the time Toyako 7 years old, the abilities that have been nurtured. We remember one is a photographer, wildlife. Yes. So already there are a number of challenges that are in a make hours when you're 70. When you sit down with guys in clubs, ukikatu na chini vifiti. Say ni smart. Niko na bishte yangu tulikuwa tunaenda naye sherehe form 3. Akishavuta bangi alikuwa ananiambia, Buda, mimi siku moja ndajenga cinema. Ndajenga cinema, nahitaji tu 300 million. Nataka tu siku moja nipatane na Orezo kibahati mbaya nikitembea State House Road. I know at that time we are high. And so ananiambia, maze nikipatana na president ndamlilia tu nimpigie magoti. Nimwambia nipe tu 300 dem, ndapatia watu 1000 job. And you know, and so when you sit down with these people, it's not that they're not smart. They're smart, but their circumstances, one of pain, some of them because of background, some of them they don't know even how they will get to where they're supposed to. But let us look at the 30%. Nini msemi yangu anafaa kuduna jokuna sewa yangu ana watch, and maybe looking at Reuben as an example, there are few things he has already achieved. And now looking at our generation, there are things we'll have to do differently. I know that most of them may be in campus, wengine wameshaingia college, but kusema ukweli sahi, the level of competition that is in our generation, kukuwa na degree solo, itakuwa noma. So maybe I'll just share 4 things. Number 1, you must master the ability of packaging yourself as a young person. Kuna msee alisema that chupa ya soda kwa shop mtaani ni 50 bob. Chupa ya soda Java ni 250. Chupa ya soda airport ni 500. Difference ni packaging. Juu kiingia Java unalipia hiyo kizungu ya waiter,
unalipia kiti umekaa, unalipia music yenye imeko kwa background. Ukienda mtaani unalipia tu hiyo shop na retail pekee na story imeisha. So you must master that thing of packaging yourself. At the age of 16, I approached Dr. Chris Kirubi. And I went and told him, sir, I would like to manage your pages on Twitter. We began something called Ask Kirubi. And when we began that program, at first it did not make sense, but that thing blew out. And it gave me an opportunity to be sitting down with him. And my mother had told me, when you meet senior people, when you meet anyone, let it be business, politicians, don't borrow money. Give your vision, give values. Because many young people, most of these guys are used to be borrowed money. And there are times ningekaa na mzito niko na njaa, tumekaa safari park, ananiambia order anything you want. And then I remember a scripture in Proverbs that says, before a king you don't show your appetite. Namwambia Zal, order coffee. Unakunywa coffee kutoka hapo ninge kibandaski unadishi chapo 7. Juu hiyo saa yuko. And through that, by the time he was dying, he asked me, why is it that you've never borrowed me money and you've known me for 2 years? Now your time he almost knew he was going to die. They told him, sir, it's because money is the least of things you can give. Because when you look at the currency of men, the first thing a wealthy person can give you, 1 is wisdom. Number 2 is access, that you can call them and they can listen to you. I saw a quote that says, networks are not the people you know, networks are the people who know you. So you can have the number of the president, but he doesn't pick. But when the president knows you and he can call you, now those are networks. So access is another thing. Number 3, if these people can help you to eat into their time and introduce you in certain spaces, that is worthless. That is more worth than all these other things. So that's another thing, packaging yourself, number 1. Number 2, master the gift of storytelling. Master the gift of storytelling. Storytelling is something that maybe people haven't taken a lot of time into. But right now I'm writing a book called That What Can I Do For You? If you have mastered storytelling, you can introduce yourself to anyone and everyone. When I met Charlie in Ruto, tulikuwa kwa elevator, and I began introducing myself, told her a story. She introduced me to UBA Bank. We went to the boardroom. I spoke to the CEO for a few minutes. And that's for the first time I saw $500,000 hivi, mtu akinipea. I was doing an event in Kilifi 2 months ago. And I discovered if I didn't know storytelling, it's very hard for people to listen to you. Because it's storytelling that can introduce you. Let me tell you how I met you, sir. After Safari Park, I sent a message to one of the people who work in your company, a voice note. And I was taught that in neuroscience, that when you're introducing yourselves before people, always send a voice note that is less than 38 seconds. Because beyond 41 seconds, the human brain shifts, especially if they don't know you, if they haven't met you. Because people are very impatient. So I sent the voice note, and that lady said, okay, our CEO might like you. Send the proposal. I sent a proposal. Then later on, she told me, now, we have read the proposal, but we first want you to meet the CEO. There's something the CEO is doing. And that's how this meeting happened. So that's another thing, master storytelling, that you can introduce yourself anywhere in this life. So every day, get at least 6 or 5 stories as a young person, short, powerful stories. They need to be as short as a miniskirt to attract attention and long enough to cover essentials. You know, so very short and powerful stories. So if you're talking maybe about a story about, it's called the Java principle, master to short stories. So when you're talking to anyone on phone call, introduce yourself with a story. The third thing, build your wardrobe in these formative ages. Build your wardrobe as a young person. There are certain colors you need to have. I studied color psychology. So when you're meeting people, for example, in boardrooms, it's important to wear color black. It just shows that, 1, you're bold. And then also at times when you're meeting very senior people, at times I was told, don't wear color red. Color red is a color for power. They do it even subconsciously. You can see the CEO is in a red t-shirt. He doesn't even know about it. But it's a very subconscious thing. Red represents power. That's why when presidents are being sworn in, they have a red tie. Navy blue means democratic and open-minded. I was told that gray means gentle. So those are colors that you need to have in your wardrobe if you're a young man. Save mazee, hizi time ya kupeleka madem date ya 2000 hiyo ni luku mzima. Shati moja ngara ni punch, trouser ni punch, tie mazee ni sotatu, happy socks. So job tu si kukula jaba na miraa mazee, kula miraa ni chwani na una socks. So buy happy socks, kaa fiti, tafuta ka cologne. I was told that when you're speaking before people, apart from your words, your scent is also speaking. So invest in a good scent as a young person. Maybe the last thing, ensure that you always have something to contribute somewhere. So know about, someone said the law of cookery. Know something about everything and everything about something. Know something about economy. Know something about the finance bill. Know something about AI. Have something to contribute. Kuna time nimepeleka dem date nikiwa form 3. Kupeleka dem date, tumeongea na mwambia vision yangu. Alijenda tu amesema, guy, we, akisi uko ambitious. namuuliza sasa vision yako ni gani, na mimi nitatu kwenda Masai Mara na ni buy iPhone. So nika discover mazeni noma. I also have a friend who met Pius Mushiri someday, and they're in the car for a very long drive. And as they're having a conversation with this CEO, he starts texting me ananiambia, buda maze nimekosa vitu za kusema. Mzito ananiuliza story ya economy, sijui ndasema nini. So I was texting him what to say. Na mtext haraka anasema. So we had to fix that matter. So every day I tell him now we have to read newspapers and all that for at least 30 minutes. So that's what I can share. That is what you can do in your 20s in brief. Yes.
That is so powerful, and that is very amazing, and thank you for the stories. I would like you to repeat the 4 things without having to explain anything. Yes. You know, some guys are taking notes. You want to be able to speak like him, that level of eloquence, meet Chris Kruby, meet who is who, Patrice Lumumba, all those guys. There are so many young people who would like to meet these people, but they, like you said, they just want to meet, but you ask them, they'll tell you stories. I've not gone, I've not found someone to introduce me. You're saying you met someone in a lift, another person. Then we met by there, I did not share how we met. Initially, I was not even, because I meet so many people, people who want to get work, people who want to work with us, all manner of people. And when I saw your proposal, you even wrote me as a message in Instagram, which I don't know whether I even respond because I received so many. But I think he was smart enough to approach me using a member of staff, because if a staff member comes, we know each other. And I listen to them. And that was very smart. So you might be there sitting and wondering, what can I do to move my life forward? What can I be able to do something for myself? And most of you are sitting there waiting. Even manna that was, if you look at the Bible, even the manna that was raining from heaven, those times of the Old Testament, you had to go out and get that manna. It was not coming to your stomach. You have to wake up and go out there. Some of you are like that. You are waiting for God to help you, but you are not going out. You say you want to become possibly like him, Kirubi, the president, a musician. But guy, you see, umeketi tu hapo and there's nothing you are doing. We are calling you to do something. And actually, all my shows, all this channel is about taking action. That's what I preach on a daily basis. That's why I say, get it done with Reuben. And please, please subscribe to our channel so that you help us reach a bit more people. I wanted him to repeat the four things very fast, maybe in like 30 seconds. Then we can tell you some of the mistakes I did for you not to go to that route. And I believe he's not going to make those mistakes. Maybe you can repeat them.
Okay, one we said about packaging yourself. Number 2, you talked about storytelling. Number 3, you also talked about the aspect of building your image. And then number 4, we talked about, let me remember the stories I've used. They were very random. Packaging yourself, storytelling, the aspect of image. Yes, have something, know something about everything and everything about something. So building knowledge. Yes, sir.
Learn something new. You have to know something about everything and everything about something.
Yes, sir.
In Kikuyu, there is a name they use. I'm not going to use it today. It is not a good name, but I think it is very important, because if I meet a young person and we are talking about the economy, and then you hear this person, even in our interviews, we try to understand whether you are an all-rounded person. Because when you meet customers out there, you not to be talking about land all the time. You need to make the customer feel comfortable. You need to be that kind of a person that can create friendship. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope you are having your notebooks. If you write, I have my notebook is in my phone. I'm a digital person. I believe young people are digital. You can be writing there, and please note something that you can start today. Saa hii hakuna kugojea tena, even tomorrow, depending on where you are. Something that you can start actioning right away, because that's what we are telling young people to do. I know some young people, we are talk about 70%. 70% of our young people might be doing the wrong things without knowing. Only 30%, and I agree with our statistics, are doing the right thing. There are those people who listen today. We are not talking about entertainment, those trendy topics, Moshene, and many other gossip stories that you get into the blogs. I'm not interested. I know I'm talking to I might be talking to a small group, maybe 20%, and I'm okay with that, because some of you will just say, and hate on this information. I produced a video the other day and there were so many people who are commenting the negative. I'm not worried. I don't have a problem with that. I just want them to get a message. With time they'll know it is true. So I wanted to share some of the things that I also believe you should be doing that I did not do myself. One of the things, this is a course I did like 1 year ago, which really changed the way I manage my finances.
Yes, sir.
I've been also training people about money, investment and stuff like that. In a course, it was costing me, it was $25. We're talking about 3K, right?
Yes, sir.
Takes 2 weeks, and you do it via Zoom. 2 hours per day, and it was very short, simple, easy. It gives you things that people think they know. Most of us, especially young people, even old people who are watching us today, most of the time we believe we know na hatutaki kuambiwa. Let me tell you, the fastest way to go down is when you think you know something, but most likely you don't know. The fastest way to, let me repeat this, the fastest way to start going down and not growing is to always think you know. Most of the time you know very little, and that little is what people implement and they end up failing. Yes. There's so much information out there to be able to help you. Now, I ask myself, what if I did that course when I was 21 years old? Where would I be now? I'm not saying I failed. What I'm saying, there are many other humongous things I would have done to impact people's lives. So I'm going to share some of them which I know. Some of them I have done, some of them I have not done. Things you should be doing in your 20s. He has talked about 4, and he is very right, and I know he is living that life because for him to achieve what he has been able to achieve at 21, my friends, and he's a testimony that you can also do at 21, achieve the same things at 21. He must be very good. One of the other things I wanted to share today, and this is very important, you need to develop yourself. You have to build foundational skills, and I'm going to share some of them that you'll never be taught in school. Number 1, these foundational skills, you have to know how to deal with stress. I think as you shared, I felt like we need to have like the whole day, 5 hours or 6 hours, so that we can explain to our audience. Because this time is too short, let's be honest. It is too short for us to be able to finish. My friend, we are going to have other shows even after this, so that we cover some of this topic in depth. We'll be covering one topic for your own benefit. But allow me to talk about these foundational skills. You know how to manage stress, how to manage anxiety, how to manage uncertainty, and this is for young people. I've met many young people who don't know how to communicate. How to communicate your stand respectfully. Most young people will come, they don't have the language, they don't have the manner. Unfortunately, I know you're calling them Generation Z. Most of you don't have what we have, 38 years old. You don't have what we have. If you come to me as a CEO of Username, this is a way I've grown up, right? Yes, most of us don't change as you think. This is a way for you to be able to get my attention. To be able to get a job here, you have to approach it. You need to be that kind of a smart person to be able to turn yourself into a person who can be employable. So you have to know how to communicate with respect. You communicate your stand. The other day I posted in my social media handles, and if you are going there, look for Reuben Kimani KE everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere else. I said this: if you don't ask, the answer will always be a no. If this man did not bother and follow us along, we will not be here speaking today. Yes. And of course, we have our own engagements. If you don't ask, the answer will also. So as a young person, you have to learn to be bold enough to respectfully ask for what you want. Yes. And be persistent while doing it. And you should always know when to stop asking so that you don't maybe have... you see, people are rejecting. Those who do sales will tell you get so many rejections until you get used to it. Yes. You have to know how to ask what you want. The other thing, because our time is gone, I think we have less than 5 or 10 minutes. I'll highlight them very fast. You also have to develop other foundational skills that are very important. One of the things that I know you must do is your career growth. This is the time to test as many careers as possible. I'll give you a story. When I got employed in Safaricom in the year 2010, this guy was very young. I think he was 10 years old. One of the things we did, we went around the company. It was a management program. I was able to go to customer care, to marketing, technology. I was able to go to procurement. I went to every department. We were spending between 1 month to 3 months. Remember being call center. Those line 100s were used to call and people used to give you stories. I got a headache. The second day I felt like I don't want to go, but anyway, I learned how to do it and got it. So I was able to do rotation, and at some point I even did, apart from being an engineer, managing telecommunication, billing issues, we are the guys who are managing systems that deal with your credit, airtime, and all those things. I also learned how to do risk management. I went to a rotation there. What basically was happening, I was introduced to so many aspects of my career in life. For so long, since I was in class 6, I used to do, I used to repair shoes in the village at class 6. So I used to make money from class 6. So I learned I can be able to do business. I've done so many things. That is the life of discovery I'm talking about. In your career today, there are those who, and this is something that is happening in Kenya a lot, even our times. You do a Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering, but you have to be flexible enough to take what is available, right? Yes, sir. So one of the things you can do is do as many things as possible. You can do a sales job. There's so many people who are very good in sales here, but they did courses you would not imagine, engineering and stuff like that. Then after starting their selling job, their sales job, they discover that they are very good in it. No one can be able to give you that. So discover yourself is part of discovery. Develop your career. Number 2 is health. And I know he wanted to talk about fitness. One of the things, when you are young, like him, he doesn't have a problem. By the time you get to 30 years, and most people when they get married, that's where the problem comes in. You have a job, you stay in traffic, you sit in your seat for the whole day and stuff like that. The kind of food you are eating, especially in Nairobi, in the urban centers, is not very good, right? So people, I think when I got employed, I used to be very slim. But between 2010 and 2012, I think I added so many kgs, I even got a pot that time. And in 2014, that's when I discovered I needed to do something. I started slowly. I've been removing it an inch per year. Very, very small progress. My friend, when you are very young, start learning about fitness, also learn about nutrition, and you also need to learn about health in general. Most of you, and somebody told me the other day, your health is never an urgent matter. It is important but not urgent. Important but not urgent. And he was saying, one day when it become urgent, an ambulance will come for you. That's how health works. It is never urgent. So as much as possible, learn how to do exercises. People run in Karua have been doing that for like 2 to 3 years now. We do have a marathon. Learn how to swim. Learn how to do what. There are so many physical activities that you don't need necessarily to go to the gym. People walk. Right now you may not need it, but you need to develop the habit. When you get to that years, you'll discover that for you might be very big. You'll find people excelling their careers and in many other things, but their health is at risk, right? The kind of life we are living today is such that people are developing those lifestyle diseases at my age. So as early as now, my friend, develop a routine that will teach you how to exercise. If you can go to the gym, people will say, I don't have money to pay at the gym. Do you know getting to Karura, I think, is 100 shillings, right? Yes. You go there, you have 4,000 acres by yourself. You can walk, you can run, you can join friends, and these days there are so many. You can learn how to swim. The other thing, very fast, I think I have 2 minutes. You also have to learn about investment and saving. I talked about doing a course last year about financial literacy. Very basic. Understand how to manage money. The way you have grown up with our parents and the society that we have, no one teaches you, even in school. how to manage your money. They'll teach you how to work, how to be an IT engineer, how to be a biochemist, how to be a public speaker, he is one, how to be a psychologist, how to be everything else except knowing how to manage your money. This is so important because money is what moves the world. Yes. And all of us here are working very hard to earn an extra coin. Yes. And if you learn how to manage that from the very beginning, and I'll tell you, in college you used to get help, right? Yes. I used to be in Jomo Kenyatta University. Juja today is one of the places, it's called Nairobi Bedroom. It's one of the places where people live. Yes. Those parcels of land were extremely, I would say, cheap. In the year 2010 or thereabout. 2008 when I was in school, I was started in 2005 thereabout. They were extremely cheap. If I had some kind of, if I'm that young person who had invested in some kind of knowledge, by then, this business would have been started long time ago. And you imagine some of those parcels, because they used to be sold for 25,000 Kenyan shillings. Right now they go for about 5 million. You can imagine that is from 206 or thereabout. We are talking about 15 years. The same thing will happen 15 years from today. You know that? Yes, sir. And that's what I'm saying. They can say, that was Juja and Thika Road, especially where real estate is concerned. But the same thing will happen 15 years from today. So the young person who is listening to us, what are you preparing? The other thing, and I think this is the second last, you need to learn marketable skills. I think is just farming up what I've been talking about. He talked about the power of giving stories. This is communication. Learn how to talk to people. I've been teaching some of my nieces, apart from the academic skills that you have. My friend, you have to go out there and become marketable. The first stage of marketing yourself is when you go for interviews. I failed like 4 or 5 interviews myself. I passed so well in my exam in college. Yes. And I used to believe I'm very good because I was good academically. I did not know that is like 20 to 30% of competence. Yes. You need to know how to talk. I failed like 4 very good interviews until I had to slow down. I was humbled because I went with this bullish attitude. I know these things until you go to an interview and then you realize you don't know. Yes, sir. So I learned how to do interviews. Yes. And I will tell you without blinking, for those young people who are watching me today, don't think nothing happens by chance, nothing will find you in bed, nothing will come to your head, no knowledge will come to your head by osmosis. Yes. You have to go out there and read, watch interviews like this. If you are going for an interview today, I remember I did one in Safaricom, we did 4 interviews. By that time I have learned the art of doing interviews. I trained myself. So we did 4 interviews. There were different aspects. They were very difficult. Initially, I think those people had like 5,000 CVs. We ended up 10 people only after 4 interviews. So I had learned how to do it. I remember the last interview, because we were like 20 people, they wanted 10 after that whole journey. I had to sleep at midnight, looking at all the possible questions they would ask and what the possible, or how I'll answer them, yes, and repeating them after many times. When I went to that interview, one of the HR managers had to comment that, I believe you have done this so many times. Because every question they were shooting, I had a ready answer. And of course, because you develop confidence when you know what you are saying, right? Yes. If you know, you have a lot of confidence. Yes. Most of us, they don't take time to. They'll come here in an interview and we'll ask them to name one of the projects username have done. 0. What does it tell you? That person never did their research. What does it also say? When they come here, there'll be that person who have to be reminded things. That's what it says, my friend. Go out there, make yourself marketable. I think that is the key word. The last thing, of course, you have to also learn communication skill, problem solving skills. I'm reading from here. The other thing is new technologies. We have AI, depending on your line. Like him is in public speaking. He has to learn from the best in the world. Yes. What new ideas are there in that space? Yes. Some of them are even technology based. You introduce here, and because you are also playing the global space, yes, right? Yes. It's not even in the Kenyan space. Yes. You can actually produce something in TikTok today, it trends worldwide. Yes. and then you become an international sensation. What we are saying, we are playing in a global space unlike our age. The last thing is to be open-minded. You'll find it in so many of my interviews. This is something that I believe has really helped me over a long period of time. I did computer science, but now we are in real estate, right? I used to, I've done a business for selling groceries. We used to sell cabbages at some point when I was young. I've done a business of repairing shoes. I've been, I've done, in my career, I was in technology, I was in customer care, I've done risk management. Basically, I know so many things, like you are saying.
Cocktail.
So many things about things, right?
Yes, sir.
Small things about I feel like I can be able to fit in so many spaces. But if I was to focus on one, I'll still be good. My friend, be open-minded. If you did a course in college, and if you are doing a course because most of you are young, just know this. When you finish that course, you can get any other job. Don't be fixated because you did a course in actuarial science. You must be employed by an insurance company. You can actually come here to username investment. You start a sales career, then you realize that is where you are even getting fulfillment. Be open-minded, my friend. And you can actually realize you're not even getting a job, you start a business. To become so big and you're employing other people.
Yes, sir.
You can actually realize, like him, I don't think there's a course in the country, I might be wrong, that focuses purely on public speaking.
Not really.
Unless you go outside the country.
Yes.
What if you're supposed to be, I don't know whether they are called public speakers, you're supposed to pursue a career in public speaking and become very good globally. Not to forget that you should network. I think he is a guru in networking. As we end, he has to tell us, how is he able to get all these people? He's mentioning very big names today as we end.
Yes.
Tell us the best way to network, because these young people are listening to you.
Okay.
And very fast, you can do it in 3 minutes so that we close. I know people are watching, you have other shows,
Yes, sir.
but yeah, we have to end at some point, right?
Yes.
Let us, Tim, tell us
About
how
networking.
can be done.
Okay. So, when I began, I was looking for people, and at times, I would be like, I'm doing something great and all that, and they would be like, I'll look for you, I'll call you. So I started asking myself, what could the problem be? Because I thought a business card will introduce me so well as a young person. But I discovered, I went to an office of an MP and I found 100 business cards in the dustbin. He told me, never give a senior person a business card. You can do it for PR purposes amongst your equals. But you've met someone whom you need and you give them your card, they'll never call you. So what do? He told me, always call that person there, tell them, sir, this is my number. Then he told me, number one, people will never clap for you for the same thing twice. So you have to always build something new and speak from a language of, when Joseph went to Potiphar, he told Potiphar, I have a dream I want you to I have a dream I want to live. You have a dream you want me to interpret. Let me interpret your dream as you help me live my dream. So he told me, no one looks for you unless there is value. So speak from a language of not what you want, but from a language of the needs of the opposite side. So you do mastery and research. I tell you, one of the things I had to do, when I'm meeting like you, I've listened to 10 of your videos, interviews that people did for you in the past. So when you're meeting anyone, you have to employ mastery. Know every single detail. Know when they were born, where they grew up, know about even the family, know about the things they like. Also call the people around the person if you can. Sometimes when I'm meeting very senior people and at times I don't know their social media pages, I send them cash on M-Pesa, then I cancel the transaction. Ishakuletea jina. Then you research them on LinkedIn. Go and look, hizo posts za chini. So by the time you meet this person, you have an idea about them. Number 3, also there is that aspect of, there are things that when you build, they attract attention naturally. So Pastor T really told me, work on a book, Benny. Everyone is speaking, few have written. So do that things. There is a mantra that says, when they sit, I stand. When they stand, I stand out. And when they stand out, I put the standard. So always put the standard. So always have that mantra. Do something that is extraordinary. Bruce Lee says, I don't fear man who has practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. So build mastery. So have things. So if you are a speaker, like right now, apart from writing, I'm now studied sign language. I'm now studying German, Spanish, and Chinese. I'm also I'm finishing my course in speech writing, executive speech writing, writing speeches for CEOs and executive people. They don't have time to sit down and all that. And right now, what else am I building? I'm studying international relations to study geopolitics, to write speeches for politicians, strategic speeches in the United Nations. So I'm adding every single day. And also I'm studying African proverbs. Every day I study 7 stories and African proverbs. So those things, when you speak before a person, they'll turn. They'll be like, let me listen to this person. Because you're not speaking things within the environment. And lastly, someone said, speak from a generational angle. Someone said, when you ask for yourself, you'll be given a spoon. When you ask for your family, you'll be given a plate. When you ask for a generation, you'll be given a kitchen. Anyone who builds something for self, they never go far. If in your ambitions, your language is about I. Someone said ambitions are personal, a vision is universal. So speak from a language of vision. John F. Kennedy was working in a building in NASA. He met a cleaner. Then he asked that cleaner, what do you do? The cleaner said, I'm helping a man to get to the moon. He asked him again, what do you do? He said, I'm helping a man to get to the moon. He said, okay. What activity? He said, I'm a cleaner in room 308, but I'm helping a man to get to the room, to the moon. And then he met another 3 masons. One was building, and then he asked him, sir, what are you doing? He said, I'm laying bricks. He asked the second one, what are you doing? He said, I'm building a wall. He asked the third one, what are you doing? He said, we are building an auditorium for 6,000 people that will employ 500 families and feed more than 2,000 generations. When John F. Kennedy looked at those 3 people, he picked the third one. He said, I want this guy to work for the government. So speak from a language of vision. Don't speak from a language of self. Someone said, when an egg breaks from the inside, life begins. When an egg breaks from the outside, life dies. That's why we can leave it at, sir.
That is so powerful. I think we have people are used to parties. Lumumba, he works in the foundation. It's part of that foundation. Yes, sir. Quite inspiring messages out there. I think your points are hard hitting. And if anyone is watching us today, and I know they are commenting down there and asking questions. I don't know whether we have time for questions, but we are going to respond to some of them as we go along, maybe offline. But thank you so much. I think this is amazing. He has done so much in his life. And I think he is sharing from a point of view of someone who might be between 20 and 30. And I think he's ahead of his time, if I may say so. When I was 21 years old, I would not have been able to say the same thing. Never had the same knowledge, never had the same exposure. You don't need to be like me. You can still be successful. That's why we are here. You can learn something new. You can learn something that you can start implementing right away, even tomorrow. You can be that person who is taking people to the moon. You need to be someone who is visionary, and you can start right away. You are not too young to start. We have to tell our viewers today, there are those who are waiting to be 25, to be 30, waiting for their birthday next time, for their parents to tell them something, for their pastor to prophesy on them, and many other things. What I'm telling you today, you're not too young to even become the president, unless the constitution refuses for you to be so. You can be anything you want. You have to start now, strategize. Like he has talked about networking. I really wanted him to share about that because clearly he's able to connect with people who can add value to his life, and you can do the same. But he also talked about very clear, and this is a topic I wanted to cover at some point because I get approached by so many young people. Never ask for money. Among many other things I'll share in another video. Please never ask. Don't come requesting for help. Let me tell you, most of us CEOs here will never tell you this, but you're always looking for something that can be valuable to our business. Can you help me achieve something? That's where it all starts. Never be naive thinking these people are there to help you. No, they're asking themselves, what value can you give to me as I help you? If you're able to answer that question, you'll be able to reach virtually anyone you want. You come as a value proposition, not as an expense. There are those who keep sending messages to borrow money. Honestly, I even don't respond to them because what they need is not money. They need guidance. Be able to, you can get that money yourself, and you have dignity while doing it. So this show, I know we can talk a lot. We can talk so many things. There are many stories I would like to share about myself, things I've done that I am not very happy about. But in a nutshell, we believe we have been able to share something most of you can implement. Remember, this show is about taking action. It's not just about sitting pretty, sleeping somewhere in your bedroom. There are those of us who are Christian like me. They can pray but do nothing. Faith without action is dead. When you have faith, those people who have faith are the ones we see out here, going out in the market, looking for jobs, looking for opportunities, going out there, doing their exams and passing them. Those are the kind of people I consider men of faith. Not the people who go to church and lift. They are those people who go out there with the faith that they have. However small it can be, like a mustard seed, they go out there and use that faith. Be that man of faith who takes action, and that's what this show is all about. So I want to believe that you have learned something today. And we are going to have other shows like this at Reuben Kimani KE shows. And we are going to bring amazing guests as well. He might come back, maybe because our stories have not ended, so that we continue dwelling more on this. And of course, you can also be able to ask him questions. You can also be able to ask me questions directly down there in the comment. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Ring that bell so that every time we upload videos like this, you are always notified. Don't forget to comment and share with your friends so that we reach as many people as possible. He has talked about 10 million by 2029. Username would like to employ more than 100,000 people. We have our own visions as well, and our work is very simple. We provide Kenyans with shelter, which is a basic need, a place where you can call home. Number two, we also provide you investment opportunities. I don't want to close without saying that when you buy that piece of land, who knows? There are many of us who have gone to school because their parents took action, and as a matter of faith, they decided to invest in a plot of land somewhere. Now they are selling it, and that's why you are in school and you have been able to finish. My friend, I have so many things to say. Allow me to end there. But before then, follow me on all platforms, social media platforms as Reuben Kimani KE, including TikTok. But I also want to give him a chance to also share where people can find him so that you can ask those questions in his DM, right? And I think it's your time in 30 seconds, and then we are done.
Walubengo everywhere, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, everywhere, just Walubengo. And we normally have classes on TikTok on public speaking every Friday at night around 10 p.m. We normally have a master class just for 30 minutes to 40 minutes. You can always tune in. Thank you.
Perfect. If you want to know how to speak like him, you know where to find him. Thank you so much, Walubengo. It was nice having you today. I felt very good. There are stories I've never heard. You can follow him there. Thank you guys, and God bless you. We hope to see you after 2 weeks. And every week we'll be uploading something. We'll have live shows every other 2 weeks. This channel again is about taking action in the area of entrepreneurship, in the area of your career, in the area of investment. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend as well.